Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm doing a little bit of an overview of some inks I recently got. So I got this beautiful haul of inks here from Octopus Fluids, a German-based company who make really great fountain pen ink. Now I've looked at a range of their inks over the last year or so. Their write and draw inks, and then a range of their sort of more standard inks. And in fact, their aubergine ink was a real big contender for Ink of the Year 2023. Really beautiful purple ink. I got 9 inks here, 3 from 3 different series. So we've got the document inks here. I've got dark blue, violet, and red. You've got the Baroque inks, which I have caviar, jade, and marine. And then I've got 3 of their sheening inks, Sea Serpent, Dragon, and Unicorn. So my plan today is to show you these on a range of different papers and just give you a sense of the colors and a little bit about the performance. And then we'll, then a bunch of these will get like individual reviews and things in coming months. So let's get started. I have these inks swatched up on coloring cards. So we've got the dark blue there, we've got violet, and we've got red. Those are the document inks. Really lovely colors. I'll show them in a little bit more detail in just a second. We've got caviar, jade, and marine in the Baroque series. Now the Baroque series is sort of like, it's their vintage line, shall we say. It says Baroque since 1826. Baroque Inks is a brand that existed in previous decades, and Octopus Fluids has revived it for its heritage and its history within the German ink world. So that's the Baroque 3 that I have there. And then these sheening inks. So I have Sea Serpent here, which is indigo colored ink with a copper sheen. Very nice. We've got Dragon, which is petrol colored ink. Their term with pink sheen, which is very striking. And then we've got Unicorn, which is sky blue with the pink sheen. I think this one is going to be very popular. Now, while sheening things are, generally speaking, not my thing, I can understand these are a lot of people's like dream kind of inks. I completely get why they're so popular. Just keep in mind that sheening inks are generally highly concentrated inks. So just be wary about what pens you put them in. Make sure you put them in pens that are safe and easy to clean and all that kind of stuff. Just my little word of warning there. So the document inks have a permanent quality, which I have tested here. So this sheet was written out and then made very wet. And you can see nothing has really moved around or changed. So looking very positive there for the document inks and their water resistance. Now, all the bottles are the same size. They're a 30 ml bottle, and I'll just take out this one here from Unicorn. That's the general shape of the bottle. It's very easy to fill from. You can put it on its side to get deeper into the bottle when you're running low, but perfectly fine. A style of bottle that is used by a range of different brands, nicely printed label on the front. So that is the bottle you can expect to get your 30 ml Octopus Fluids inks in. Okay, let's start looking at them on some paper here. So this is a sheet of Tomoe River paper. This is 52 GSM Tomoe River, so nice and light paper. And I've put these inks here with a cotton bud swatch. So we're getting quite a decent amount of ink on the page so you can really see the colors. So dark blue is a very rich dark blue, almost sort of grey, blue, black kind of color. It's very nice. Violet is probably more a burgundy or a, Bordeaux sort of color in my opinion. It's actually got a bit of green sheen on it there. And then the red is an orangey themed red with a bit of sort of golden sheen. And they're very nice. They're simple, clean colors, but they look beautiful on the pages and in the writing, the same sort of thing. These Baroque inks I have here. Caviar is a rich purple grey kind of tone color. I enjoy it a lot. Hints of browns and things coming through. And then jade is a beautiful sort of emeraldy green with some red sheen on it. And then marine, another rich dark blue. I enjoy this one a lot. This is just on the end of navy into blue black in my opinion. with some coppery sheen on it there, which is very, very nice. Then there's sheening inks. We've got Sea Serpent, which is a beautiful, actually very beautiful blue. Rich sort of royal blue with some copper sheen there. They call it indigo. Dragon is their petrol color. It's a nice rich green with pink sheen. And then, as I said, Unicorn is their sky blue with red sheen. They're not like that blanket sheen ink, you know, some of those organic studios and things like that where every drop of it sheens, but where you put down a good amount, like you get hits of the sheen in the writing there. I'm not sure if that's going to be picked up on the camera, but they all are sheening in the writing, and those are done with a glass dip pen. You will see when I get around to doing reviews, you'll see them in fine nibs as well as more broader nibs. You can get a bit of a different sense of it there. But that's them on Tomoe River. Let's now look at it on Rhodia. So I've just written with them all here on the Rhodia. I think they all look really, really nice. I really like these Baroque ink tones. They're sort of warm coloured tones based on that colour family. The document inks, once again, look very nice. And on the surface of the paper, all of these perform very, very well. We're not getting a huge amount of sheen on the Rhodia. We get a little bit from Unicorn, but Dragon and Sea Serpent, not sheening so much here. And these were done with the same dip pen and everything as the Tomoe River samples before. So it very, very much goes to show just how important paper is in terms of sheen as well as the ink itself. And this is Rhodia, so it's, you know, decent sort of fountain pen friendly paper. If we look at the reverse of this page, nothing has bled through. The document inks are probably the closest, that red one in particular. Document inks tend to be a little bit more aggressive by nature of needing to actually really adhere into the paper as opposed to just sort of like drying on the surface like a lot of water, non-water resistant inks will. But I think that performance is not too bad, all things considered. Then I have it here on, this is regular copy paper. This is the 80 GSM copy paper you get from Reflex here in Australia. The document inks, they look okay. They do feather ever so slightly. In fact, they all feather slightly on this paper. It is not fountain pen friendly paper, but those document inks have really sort of like sat into the paper quite a lot. We definitely don't get any sheen, but we see what the base color of these sheening inks really is in this form. And they're beautiful colors. The sky blue, absolutely lovely. But that's them on the front. And then on the back, everything has kind of bled through. This is not fountain pen friendly paper, so it's what you would expect. But these are inks that are designed for fountain pens using paper that is also designed for fountain pens, and this paper is not. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick color comparison now of each color just to give a sense of what they look like. So we're going to start here with the dark blue of the document inks. I'm putting it alongside 1864 Blue Black from Diamine. So these colors aren't chosen to be the exact match. They're chosen to be a color in roughly the same family that gives a sense of what this color is. And these ones do line up fairly well, including the same sort of dark red copper sheen. But of course, document ink being document proof. Next, we get Violet from the Document Ink series, and I'm putting that alongside Alt Bordeaux from Rohrer und Klingner. Now, not an exact match, but I said it earlier that it's sort of like a Bordeaux-y kind of color, and that's what I'm kind of getting from this. I'm not getting a whole lot of violet. It's like a browny purple, which ties in nicely with that sort of Bordeaux quality. Then the Document Red, which I'm putting alongside Waterman Audacious Red. Now, once again, not a color match, but that's kind of like my go-to red for everyday use. When I need a red, that's kind of what a red, that's what I go for. So you can see it's a paler red. It's more orange red than the sort of vibrant red of the Audacious Red. But this ink has some lovely shading qualities and actually gets a nice sort of bit of sort of gold sheen as well in some of those sort of heavier spots of greeny gold sheen. It's a nice color ink, but not a super vibrant red. Okay, now we move on to the Baroque inks, and I'm going to start here with Caviar. Now, this is a browny, purpley grey kind of colour. And there's a lot of inks in that family, but I wanted to put it alongside this. This is Robert Oster Blue Black, because those purpley undertones in here, I feel very tie in a bit with this sort of caviar coloured ink. An ink like Three Oysters Purple Grey is also quite similar, but not as dark as this. This has some really good depth in the darker sort of the darker shading of it. Next is Jade. I'm putting this alongside another Robert Oster. It is Tranquility. Now, this is not a colour family that the camera likes to pick up super accurately. It's a lot more, Tranquility is a lot more vibrant through the lighter shades, but we see in these mid-tones, there's a nice similarity. So it's Jade, but it's almost kind of got like an emeraldy teal kind of colour to it, and some interesting sort of gentle red sheen as well. So it's a nice different green from a sort of a standard forest green or a more sort of tealy turquoise green. And then the last of the Baroque inks we're looking at is Marine, and I'm putting that alongside Diamine Oxford Blue, my favourite blue. And you know what? In the midtones particularly, these are quite similar. I think Oxford Blue has a bit more vibrancy in the lighter shading, but in the darker shading and through to those midtones, there's a lot going on here that's quite similar. And the sheen also, sort of when it pops on Oxford Blue, it's this sort of like reddy copper. It's not dissimilar there to Marine as well. Marine is quite a saturated ink. I like this color of blue a lot. Obviously, I have a lot of these in my collection. I use them a lot. And Marine is beautiful. Okay, now we get into the sheening inks. Now, I want to put this alongside two inks that aren't like known for being sheening inks, but are. So we've got Waterman Serenity Blue as my sort of standard blue. And then we've got Colt Pen's Sailor Colt Pen's Iris. I shall put that one in the middle there. So this sort of sits between them, maybe a little bit darker than both, but in terms of the sheening quality, we've got similarities across the board. Waterman Serenity Blue sheens more pink, than pinky red than coppery red, but as a standard blue, you can see where this fits, and in that sheening, you can see that it's, once again, a very highly saturated ink. Comparison here with Octopus Fluids Dragon, I've got River of Fire from Robert Oster. Now, they are a slightly different green. I think Dragon is much more an emerald green. They call this petrol. I call it like a emeraldy, pepperminty kind of green. And then River of Fire has a nice earthiness to it, but they're both sort of quite heavy red copper sheeners as well, which is an interesting sort of comparison to put that into context. And then lastly, we have Unicorn. As I said, I think this is going to be a very, very popular ink. It's got a nice base blue. It's slightly darker there than something like Pilot Iroshizuku Konpeki. It's definitely darker than things like Robert Oster Fire and Ice, and it sheens slightly heavier than a lot of the Robert Osters as well. In fact, I've got it here alongside Robert Oster True Blue, which is one of my favourite Robert Oster blues and shares a lot in, once again, that sort of middle tone of the ink, what you get from the base notes of the writing, but where the Robert Oster doesn't sheen as much in the writing, and you get quite a lot of sheen here on the Octopus Fluids Unicorn. But it's a similar shade of that pinky green with a nice vibrant sky blue. So that was the 9 inks of my haul there from Octopus Fluids. This is a brand of inks I really like, and I'm really looking forward to reviewing a few of these. I picked out the ones I'm going to start with reviews. I'll probably do a month of Octopus Fluids reviews later in the year. But yes, dark blue, violet, red, Caviar, Jade, and Marine, and then Sea Serpent, Dragon, and Unicorn. Beautiful inks. As I said, they perform really, really nicely. And this is a company who really know what they're doing in terms of ink production and how to actually produce great quality inks. So, if you're not familiar with the brand, check them out. And a big thank you to Octopus Fluids for sending out this selection of inks for me to look at. As I said, I'll be reviewing a handful of them in the coming months. Just wanted to give a nice overview of what these lines are and the kinds of colors you can expect. So thank you for watching, like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there is a way you would like to support my channel, I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your inks, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.